Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Justice League Unlimited issue 4 by Mark Waid, Dan Mora and Tamara Bonvillain. Inferno's attack on the Amazon rainforest continues this issue as, with time running out for the world's lungs, Mr. Terrific seeks out Tefe Holland, the daughter of Alec Holland, hoping that she will join the Justice League and help them, but the woman angrily declines the offer, tossing her membership card away. Now I can't remember the last time we saw Tefe. I know she was in the most recent Ram v Swamp Thing book from just a few years ago, but she is absolutely one of those characters who are relatively unknown, thus perfect for Mark Waid, who's been filling this book with lesser known characters since issue 1 and giving them the spotlight over characters like Batman, Superman and Wonder Woman. 10 minutes earlier, Terrific and Red Tornado try desperately to try and curb the magical fire engulfing the rainforest. Tornado thinks that time has come for a Hail Mary, something Michael doesn't believe in, but Tornado convinces him that instead of looking for a hero to help fight the fire, they should simply look for civilians. Michael is quick to find Tefe Holland, and in the present, Tefe is racked with pain thanks to the green suffering. Tefe feels Levi Kemi, the most recent Swamp Thing, has been killed by Inferno, as Michael tries to convince her to help the planet and help them. The main league, meanwhile, continue to try and crack the fiery pillars that Inferno had constructed in the Amazon, but nothing works, and whatever power they blast or hit it with, it is returned twofold to the attacker, something Stargirl and Stripe are quick to find out. The heroes are at a loss for what to do, what with 30 million people still in danger and Dr. Occult having been taken by villains. The leftover magical users pour their power into the arriving Tefe in hopes that her connection to the green could help them deal with the fire, as back at the Watchtower, Blue Beetle and Prof from the Challenges of the Unknown find a way to funnel the flames into the Phantom Zone, while Kid Flash and Max Mercury scour the library for a magical counterspell to the flames. But time is short, and Mr. Terrific believes that they have under 2.5 hours until everything is destroyed. Now I'll never not tire of seeing who Mark Waid is going to bring into the book issue per issue, and then also how he uses them in an interesting way. He's not just putting them on a team together and, they go fight a bad guy. There's an actual reason that each of these individuals is on the team. It's because of their powers and how they are being used to combat the threat in front of them. It makes each individual team member feel like an accomplished part of the Justice League. They have an important role to play in the team. Having been imbued by magic, Tefe reaches out through the green and begins to stem the fire's progress and even begin rebuilding the damaged forest, giving the heroes a hope for a fighting chance. Across the world in Egypt, a man enters his tent in the desert only to find Batman waiting for him. Now this isn't some normal man though, this is Martian Manhunter in disguise, who tells Batman to leave, but Bruce won't leave without answers as to why his friend became enraged at a parademon before fleeing after beating it to death. Batman, using his ever-keen deductive skills, knows that John is now quite literally blind and deaf, having no real control over every aspect of his body, thanks to his telepathic powers being taken from him. Now I really liked the idea that John didn't run because he thought he was useless. He thought he was still too powerful, and without full control of his powers and body, he thought he was a liability to the team. This explores something I've never actually thought about with Martian Manhunter and how his telepathic abilities are natural. They're literally another limb or an appendage for him. They weren't a result of him, coming to Earth under a yellow sun or getting hit by gamma rays or anything like that. He's always had this power in him, so taking that away from him must feel like a piece of him has been taken. It's like a phantom limb sort of situation, and it must be excruciating. Batman tells John that he's been a constant on the League, and he's the one who actually represents their values and is more or less the heart of the team. Now this harkens back to some stuff we saw what Scott Snyder was doing with him, where he was the heart of the team in Scott Snyder's run, and it's something that other writers throughout the years have played with, as putting Martian Manhunter on the team. We saw it in the cartoon as well. On other teams he's been there and has been a big part of the team, so I like that that's continuing in some aspect throughout this run as well. As Batman tries to help bring his friend back, Dr. Occult is thrown back into the physical world by Inferno, but not just as a man, but as Envoy puts it, human kindling, as the hero is set ablaze, burning among amongst the unstoppable fire in the forest. Now, it's not actually said if Occult is dead or not. I'm assuming he is because, let's face it, he's a very, low-level, no-name character, and no one's really going to get upset that Dr. Occult died in a Justice League book. And it really does help set the sort of stakes for these villains. They're willing to just kill anyone who sees who they are. And that's exactly what he saw. He saw who they were before being blasted back through this portal. It's also a very brutal death, just to be set ablaze and then tossed into a raging inferno of a forest. That's pretty hardcore. Tefe meanwhile helps Aquaman get away from the fire by taking him deep into the green, where Tefe knows that they will find Swamp Thing, since she knows that Levi, anyone who is Swamp Thing, can never die. They just retreat into the green to heal. There are little tidbits of really interesting lore for the green here spread throughout these pages, like the moisture Aquaman feels isn't something he should actually find refreshing and comforting, since it's actually the tears of the green, which only ever occur when it's in immense pain, and the structure of the realm even tries to attack them, something which Arthur thinks could be Inferno trying to stop them, being that Inferno's whole play for the green here is to try and bend it to their will and make it theirs. Thanks to the energies of the green being similar to waves and currents, Aquaman is able to command and maneuver through them, and with Tefe's help, they look for a way to help the green. As above in the physical realm, the heroes continue to try and save as many as they can as the timer ticks down on Mr. Terrific's computer. Tefe and Aquaman soon find the trapped Swamp Thing and the cloaked being from Inferno who has trapped him. The mystery on who Inferno is continues, and I know it's going to be revealed in the coming issues, but also we kind of know little tidbits here and there, like right here where Aquaman learns that this person has some sort of relation to him, or they know each other because this cloaked Inferno being calls Aquaman his old friend. Now we know later on in the year they're going to be fighting the Legion of Doom, and I can totally see them either being Inferno, like this is them trying to make a play without them fully revealing their hand as the Legion of Doom, or maybe they are being backed by the Legion of Doom in some way, and the Legion of Doom are fighting the Justice League through Inferno as a third party involved in this. Kind of makes sense as well, being that Inferno know about how to hurt the people of Earth as well as the Justice League. They know where to strike, they know exactly what to use in terms of like magical pillars and all that sort of stuff, all just to keep the League busy and keep them distracted. The villain uses his powers to invade Tefe and Arthur's minds, but Tefe is able to use her magic to tap into Aquaman's mind and use his powers to gain control over the Keepers of the Green, protectors of the Green Realm who wrap the Inferno member up in their vines. Stopping the villain causes Levi to be freed from his cell, and upon touching Tefe, he explodes with power, becoming Swamp Thing again, and with the power of the Green as well as the leftover magic imbued into Tefe from the other magical beings, he is able to stop Inferno's magical pillars, smashing them to bits. Now Dan Mora is really pulling out all the stops to make this book look just absolutely gorgeous, doing real well in these little multi-hero vignettes we get throughout this book and throughout every issue so far. But where he really excels in is these very large-scale full-page spreads. Like in this one of the final pages, we get to see the Amazon regrowing, and it's regrowing in the shape of Swamp Thing's face. It's really cool looking visual. The League and Mr. Terrific breathe a sigh of relief as the forest regrows, and there's this fun little part where in the aftermath, Michael is kind of sketching out in his notebook of all these ideas he has for the League, and one of them is Justice League Green, which isn't really alluded to all that much on that page, but I'm guessing it's going to be a team focused on heroes who are tied to the green, something which will no doubt come in handy at some point later on. And it's Michael learning from his mistakes. He didn't have a team of these people ready to go in case an event like this happened, but now he will. Tefe, on the other hand, isn't interested in ever joining any sort of Justice League Green, wanting them to lose her number. The Inferno being who was defeated by Aquaman and Tefe meanwhile returns to the rest of Inferno, having failed in his mission, but he knows the League are under immense pressure, and having them confused by all of their motives and methods and what they want to do has distracted them from the fact that they have a man on the inside of the Justice League, that being Airwave, which I guess confirms that he is indeed working for Inferno and not, himself or some other third party, which I assumed he was. I thought the stories were all going to come crashing together and it was going to reveal all these other threats to the Justice League weren't even aware of, but I kind of like that it's all connected in some sort of way. Again, like I said in my last review, I wish we would get more of Airwave's story, since it feels like he's just kind of in the background, and I guess that's kind of the point of the character. I think Mark Waid wants you to kind of forget about him just for a little bit, and then he'll strike, and that's like the whole point. He's hiding within plain sight, helping the League where he can, and then when probably they're at the weakest, he's going to strike. Justice League Unlimited issue 4 kept the pace of the story moving at a great and snappy speed. I love the idea of how Waid utilized members to come up with a plan to stop the spreading magical fire, and how he deployed characters we've seldom seen in interesting and integral ways, like Tefe Holland again, making it feel like you're never getting the same Justice League roster in each issue. I'm hoping next issue we get some proper movement on Inferno's storyline, since while the League are combating their wrongdoings, they have yet to actually combat the source of these threats yet, and I think the book is about to dig into some really deep and big twist reveals or shift the narrative for that to happen, and I'm really excited to see where Waid takes us as we enter the back half of his first arc on the book. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.